Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you step by step how to create this landing page. So this landing page consists of this single page which advertises your main online course. So here we have the main hero area, and when I scroll down here, this is a section that talks about the actual contents of the course. So we have our module 1, module 2, and if I click on here, this will expand and show us what the contents of module 2 are. And as I scroll down here, we also have a summary of what this course is about. And then finally over here, we have our testimonials. So I'm going to be showing you step by step how to create this from scratch. So this is part 2. In part 1, I showed you step by step how to create the hero area. So if you want to take a look at that, I'll leave the link in the video description below. Now, before we get started, if you'd like to learn how to design professional looking websites with Divi, I have a fantastic offer for you. If you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I'll give you access to my web design formula course, a course that teaches you everything that you need to know about web design from beginner to advanced. So by the end of that course, you're going to be a master in web design. So in order to access that bonus, all you have to do is to buy Divi using my affiliate link in the video description below. And once you've done that, you head over to funnelstoincome.com. On the bottom right, there's a chat bubble. All you have to do is to leave your receipt number. And once I confirm that, I will give you access to the course. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to continue from where we left from part 1, and I'll leave the link in the video description below so you can watch how we managed to come to this particular design you're looking at. And this is only the main hero area. So let's go ahead and add more content to our landing page. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is to work on the next section. So I'm going to click here on the plus button. So here we're going to click on a regular section, and let's start with a single column. And in that column, we're going to add a text module. So let's go ahead and select that. So this is where our main description is going to be. So I'm going to come over here and just choose a bunch of text which can work as our description. But this is the section which pretty much tells people what they're going to learn. So let's just call this here's what to learn. Okay, so here's what you will learn. So pretty much this is going to be our main title for this section. Next, I'm going to come over here to design, heading text, go to heading 2, and I just want to center this and make it bold. Okay, so let's make sure it's pop-ins and let's make it bold here. Okay, that's looking great, but on our colors here, I want to change this and make it a light gray. Now, the reason why I'm making it light gray is because I don't want to add too many colors here, because I'm going to make this into a template which can be used over and over again. All right, so now that we have this in place, the next part now is to add our course syllabus. So let's add a single column here. And in here, we're going to add accordions. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. So let's style this because we're going to add quite a few of these because these are going to be our modules. Okay, so let's start here with the first one. So I'm going to click here and let's call this module 1. Okay, so this is module 1, and our description text, I'm just going to add some dummy text here from Lorem 2. Okay, so this is going to work as our dummy text, but of course, in your example, this needs to go in as your summary of what's in module 1. Okay, so now that I have this all set, I'm going to go to design and let's start working on our design here. So module 1, we're going to go in here and let's change our font here, make it all caps. I'm going to change this to bold, and we may even increase the size here a little bit. So let's go with 18. We don't want to make it too much. So that's looking great. And the first one here is it's always good to have it open. In fact, we might even have all of them open. So I'm just going to stylize this further. So let's go in here and change our body font to Poppins, and we're going to make it slightly bigger. Let's go with 16. We're also going to add a bit of line height so it's easier to read. And I'm liking this so far. Okay, that looks great. Now let's head over here to our borders. And for our borders, I'm going to change my colors here. So open toggle, right? So we can go in and brand this and have it, and have it have different colors. But you know what? I'm just going to keep things very, very basic. So here, let's give it 2. And let's also add some rounded corners. So let's go with 6 and see how that looks. I really like that, how that looks now. That looks great. Now, what I may also want to do is to give this some breathing space. So let's head over here to our main title and let's look for our spacing, because here is where we need to add our padding. So let's start here with, let's go with 28. So I'm going to have this both on the top and the bottom. And let's do the same here. Let's start with 10, both sides. And then let's start increasing and let's go with, I'll say 30. In fact, you know what? Let's have 30 on the top and the bottom, left and right. So this just gives us enough space around our content. So I'm happy with that now. I'm going to come back over here to our content and then click back. So module 1 here is done. So rather than spend so much time going in and trying to redo all these designs, I'm going to just duplicate this a few times and then change the contents of my information in here. So module 1, so maybe this might have 5 modules and maybe a bonus. Okay, so now we can go in and customize this. So let's go to our second one and we're going to change this to module 2. Go back, go into the third one. Change this to module 3. Go back, module 4. Let's go back and let's do module 5. And then finally, this one here is going to be our bonus. There we go. So we have our 5 modules and our bonus. So as I mentioned before, we can have these opened, but I think it's just to save enough space on our page. Let's have one of them open and let's have the rest closed so that when someone comes to our website here, they can just click on it and then it just opens up. Okay, I think this looks great. I'm really happy with this. The next step here is to add another text module here, just to add some paragraph text. In fact, let's close this. Okay, it looks like I can't add. Okay, so let's go over here to our layers and we are on section 2 here. So let's go to our column and click on this plus button to add our text module. And here we go. Right, so I'm going to give this a description here, and that's our description to our modules or our course syllabus. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to paste that. I'm going to come back to our text here and center it. And then I'm going to increase the size a little bit to about 18. Give this some line height. Okay, so now that looks great. I'm going to save this. Then we're also going to work on our size for our row here. So I'm going to right click, copy row styles. And then over here, I'm just going to paste my row styles. So this is just going to change our width and just make sure that our width is the same throughout our page. Oops. I'm supposed to copy the row styles and then right click and paste row styles. So you can see here, I've just reduced the size of our rows. Okay, so that's looking great now. So this is what they will learn. Oh, before we move on to the next part, let us go in and let's add our padding for our sections here. So I'm going to go to, let's go to spacing and let's add 5VW here, both for the top and the bottom. And this is just great so that we give our design some breathing space. So at this stage now, I think this is a good time to go in and take a look at our mobile views. So far, I think I like the way this looks. Looks okay. Yeah, that looks great. Now, what I may do here is to go in and center this button here and also perhaps maybe even center this. But of course, you can see here, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing is all our information here. It looks great. So here again, I can see I need to go in here and add some line height because my title there doesn't look great. So this is the beauty of going in and making sure that everything looks great on all devices. Okay, so with this now, what I'm going to do is I may go in and increase my rows here, my row settings. So let's have a look. I'm going to go into my design sizing, and over here I'm at 64. So I'm going to change my width here on the phone to, let's go with 80. Yeah, because as you notice that we had too much space here on the left and the right. So let's do the same for the tablet as well. Let's set this to 80%. There we go. So that looks much better now. And for my desktop here, 64 is fine. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Okay, right. So now it's time to move on to the next section. So this is the section here where we're going to have our testimonials. So I'm going to click on this plus button, add regular. Now this time I'm going to give this a bit of a background because I don't want these sections to look the same. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background. And again, I'm just going to use a very light gray just to distinguish my sections here. But of course, if you're going to be using this template, you can go in and change your colors here and use whatever colors that you need for your backgrounds. In fact, you know what? I may even have a gradient here that may look even much better. So let's add a gradient. So let's start with a very light gray and fading down to transparent. Okay, so 100 degrees is fine. And let's play around here with our end position. So you know what? I can't really see what is happening here. Maybe it's because I have transparency all set there. Okay. So for my second color here, set it to white. And for my first color, add my gradient. Okay, I'm going to go with F7. All right, so pretty much that's all I need to do here. I'm going to save that. Now let's start adding all our elements. So I'm going to click on this plus button, and for this we're going to have a single column here to begin with, because this is where we're going to have our title. So let's use this title here just so that we save time. I'm just going to drag this all the way down and add it into this area here, and let's call this testimonials. So I'm going to go in here and just rename this to testimonials. There we go. Or you can say what other students are saying. I mean, you can frame it that way if you want. Okay, so I have my title there. Now I'm going to go in and add my spacing, which is going to be under here on spacing, and it's going to be 6 or 5 VW. And this is going to be both to the top and the bottom. Save that. And now it's time to add another row. And this is going to be a single column, and this is going to be a testimonial. There we go. So how I'm going to style this is I'm going to go in and add all the elements that I need, and then I'm just going to duplicate this to save us a lot of time. Okay, so let's start by getting rid of these quotes. So I'm going to come over here to elements, remove that. And then I'm also going to come over here to my image, and let's add our image here. And I do have a few images. I'm going to start with this one here. I'm going to upload it. Next, I am going to come over here to design. So I'll leave the rounded corners as they are. And the width, I may need to increase this to maybe 100. And 100. Now, as a rule of thumb, with this, what you need to do is to make sure that you have a square image, because if you don't have a square image, sometimes it doesn't look great when you add these rounded corners. Okay, so now that I have that in place, the next step now is to stylize my text. So I'm going to come over here, change this from default to Poppins, but of course you can use whatever font you want. And then I'm going to increase the size a little bit. There we go, 16. And to be honest, this time I'm going to go for light, because it doesn't really have to be like really bold across the whole site. So all I have to do now is to change my color here and just make it a bit more gray. That looks much better. And then for the name, that's where I'm going to choose my font here, and I'm going to make it bold, but I'm going to change the color. Okay, so now that I have this all set, the next step now is to just add a bit of line height. I'm not sure if I added line height here. Let's have a look. I didn't, so I'm going to increase some line height there. So that's going to be our testimonial. And then I'm going to add some rounded corners to this and a drop shadow. So I'm going to come over the way down here to my border, add 6 here to my rounded corners. I know we can't see it yet, but once we add our box shadow, there we go. So now you can see that it looks much better. Next, we're going to reduce our blur strength here to about, let's go with 8. Then for our color, I'm going to reduce it as well. I just want to add a slight hint of this shadow here. And then over here for our blur strength, I think we've touched on that already. So I think that looks much better. So next, I'm just going to save this, and then we're going to have quite a few of these. So to save us time, all I have to do now is to duplicate this a few times. There we go. So we can have 3, we can even have 4 if you wanted to. Okay, so now that I have all my columns in place, I'm just going to save this. And then I can just go into each and every one of these and customize them. So I'm going to start here with this one here. And let's say our testimonial here is nice and short. And for name goes here, I'm just going to say this is Jack. Now let's add our image. And hopefully we have an image here. Oh, there we go. So I can add Jack from here, upload an image. Let's save that, move on to the next one. So here again, you're going to click here on this gear icon. Click on our image, change this image, and let's add a different one here. And then for our text in the name, this can be Samantha. And let's add a bit of variety here to our text. So instead of just having this dummy text, I'm going to add this text here, which is going to act as my dummy text. Okay, so anyway, you see how easy it is to go in and customize this. In fact, you know what? We might as well do the last one here because it's a duplicate of the first one. So I'm just going to copy some dummy text from here and I'm going to paste it in place like that. And then I'm going to change the name. And this time, let's see. Let's first take a look at our images and see what images we have here. Okay, let's go with, let's try this one here. Okay, great. That looks all right. So what I'm going to do now is to change the name, and this name here could be Susan. Okay, so that's looking great. Now, all I have to do is to customize the first one here. So let's go in. So I'm going to copy my dummy text from here, and let's go in and customize it. There we go. And who should this be? Let's have a look. Running out of names, unbelievably. Right, so let's go with, that's strange. I can't even think of names for ladies. That's strange. Let's go with Serena. How about that? So we're going to save that. And this description here has, doesn't have the right text. So let's go in and change that as well. So I'm going to come over here, copy this and paste my text in here like that. Great. So now I have my testimonials all done. This is looking great. So all I have to do now is to save this so that we don't lose any of our information. Okay, great. So let's take a quick look at our landing page here. So here we have mainly our hero area. If I scroll down, we have the what you will learn. And then over here on the bottom, we have the testimonials, and these are testimonials of the students that have taken the course. So there are also other things that you can add here, like maybe a section that just talks about the main benefits of this course. And let's go ahead and do that as well. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, click on regular, and let's add 2 columns. Right, so with these 2 columns here, what we're going to do is I just need to decide where this is going to go. So I think this needs to come up here like that. Okay, so let's give this a background color. So let's go with a really dark gray. So let's go with something like that. Save that. And now let's add our images. So for our images, I'm going to go online again and choose our image from Pexels. And let's see what we get when we search for business. So all I need to do here is to find an image that really works well with our course here. Right, let's go with this one here. I'm going to go for 1920 by 1280. Click on download. So that's the one we're going to use. So let's add our image module here. And we're going to upload our image, and it's in our downloads folder, and here it is. Okay, so I'm going to add my image and save. Over here on the right, this is where you can add some text. So again, I'm going to come over here to my lorem, and we're going to add some text by searching for our text module. And we're just going to paste our text in here. And you know what would be really cool here is to have a title for our text here. So I'm going to use part of this dummy text as my title. And to do that, I'm just going to highlight it and set this to heading 1. And pretty much that does it. So now I can go into the design and customize this by going to my heading text. And while I have heading 1 selected, I'm going to change this to white. And then for the size, I think the size is okay, but let's change this to bold. There we go. So that's looking much better. And then on the description text, this is where we're also going to increase the size to about 16. And let's change this the color as well. But this time I'm just going to make it a slight gray. There we go. All right. So that's looking okay now. I'm going to save this. And this is going to act as supporting information for our main course. But of course, if you don't need it, you can just come over here and delete it. But I thought this will just work great for our supporting text. Okay, so over here on the bottom, this is our testimonials, and pretty much this is our final design. Okay, I'm now going to save this. Now, when it comes to landing pages, ideally we want to remove the header and the footer because that distracts the visitors to your main landing page. The idea is when people get to your landing page, they just need to see what's on that page, and that's it. Take action and keep moving. So let's go in and customize this by exiting the Visual Builder. And then we're going to go into the page and I'll show you how we can customize it. So I'm going to click here on Edit Page. So all we need to do now is to head over to our template. So over here on Page Attributes, we have Default Template. What we need to do is to set this to blank. Click on Update. And then now we're going to do another preview. And now we don't have the header and the footer. So pretty much this is our final design. All right, so that's all. This is how you design your landing pages for your online courses. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell notification. By doing so, you'll be notified when I release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.